So the key to dealing with packed binaries, which is a common technique used by both white hats and black hats, is to figure out how it's packed, and if you can figure out how it's packed, unpack it and unpack it and unpack it until you can finally get to what you started with. So if you have an executable, you can determine the compiler, for example. If the executable is packed, you can unpack it using available unpackers in an automated fashion, or perhaps doing some manual methods. And when all is said and done, you get back to the binary, you can do a strings on it. You can do some operations on it and see what you've got. Yes?
I've never unpacked anything, so how do you know that, number one, you're using the right unpacker and that you're doing it enough times?
We'll get to that. This is the legitimate use. It's a packed code, gives you smaller executable. Anybody remember floppy disks?
Yeah.
Used to be the way we did things. It obfuscates code. Just like, and the analogy that I would think of is the club on your steering wheel. Somebody who walks by and is trying to steal your car will see the club, and maybe they'll go to the car next to you. Because it's very easy to defeat the club. You can cut the steering wheel and take the club off. Or you can spray circuit cool in the lock and then hit the lock with a hammer and the lock will come right out. So if you know what you're doing, it's easy to defeat the club. But if you don't know what you're doing, you'll pick the next car. So the same thing could be said of a packer. If you see it's packed, you may go, oh heck, I'm going to go on to the next thing. So it may be that easy. Protection of intellectual property. Attackers make it a little harder to deal with this. Plus, I can avoid AV detection because antivirus won't see anything. And if I can make the packer pack randomly, then perhaps it'll never develop a consistent signature. So there you go. So once you unpack it, you can do this. So here's the answer to your question. Determine the packing obfuscation type. If you run this tool, PEID, which is give me the identifier of the packer, you can actually look at it and see which packer is being used. So you can unpack it and then look at it again, and then unpack it, and if it needs to be unpacked again. Yes?
As far as I can remember, just you can rely on it.
Okay.
It kind of gives you a general idea.
Fundamentally, you get the idea. There are automated tools out there that will look at for signatures, give you packing, and undo what the packing does, whether it's this one or something that replaced it. And so you can unpack them. Another example, Stud PE for a better unpacking tool, gives you some additional information. So once you've done that, you keep doing that. And some of the automated tools used by our malware team do this in an automated fashion. Oh, it's packed with this, let's unpack it. Now let's look and see what we got again. And so they may go through several iterations. So it's possible to do that in an automated fashion. So comparative analysis, basically, let me take this unknown thing and take it to Lowe's and keep looking on the shelves until I see something that looks like it. Same idea. So I can use it for AV to see if there's anything in there. I can do cryptographic checks of the whole thing. I can determine if, for example, if it's an executable, I may get segments like subroutines identified within the code. I can do an MD5 of those individual subroutines and see if I can find commonality of those subroutines across multiple executables. So it doesn't have to be at the gross level. It can be at a finer level. See, fuzzy hash may be another way, but again, that's looking at the whole thing. What I'm talking about is understanding more of the structure. Like I'll see a symbol table or something that's got I see a reference to a subroutine at this address, and so I'll walk through that code until I see a return, and I may conclude that's a subroutine. So let me do an MD5 of that subroutine and see if I find some other subroutine, and maybe I can determine something about that relative to other pieces of code.
For a case, do you need to document all the things you tried, or what your software tried?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think you document what you found once you went through and did.
Okay.
Once you got to the answer, I did this and this happened.